when he was 8 years old, he was sure he was in love. When she laughed in his face after he told her this, he was less sure. But he didn't cry and he didn't throw a tantrum. He went home and threw down a pile of soil in his backyard, in his heart. He planted a cutting of basil because although he didn't show it, he wanted basil because he wanted fire, brimstone, and basalt. He was so angry he didn't have the words, so he planted herbs. When his dog ran away from home, he planted a sprig of parsley because him wanting his dog was partially because he loved it and partially because he knew it was him and his dog that held his parents together when the screaming began downstairs and his father called his mother something he thought was only a word for dogs. He planted a little bit of saffron because it sounded romantic, and when he was younger, his parents said they loved each other because they were romantic. He wanted the smell of saffron to be the ultimate aphrodisiac, but instead, in his still screaming, door slamming, and panic attacks, the sound of a gavel sounds a lot like the door slamming, the threshold of the door that his father carried his mother over, slamming clothes. He planted clothes when his parents divorced because for every door closed, there were two that slammed. It would have been a 1-to-1 ratio, but now his parents slept in separate rooms. They let him choose who to stay with, but the truth was he didn't care who as long as he was with his garden. So he stayed outside for the next 4 years of his life. When his mother began to live on the rim of a bottle, he lived on cilantro and silence. When his father was found in a river, he didn't want to plant anything, but he planted rosemary anyways. The water rose, carrying his father away. He looked at his garden and watered it, and thought about how this could be the same water his father had been floating in. When his mother was found in a bathroom in a hotel room in the city, in his heart, he looked at his garden and realized her skin was like a Simpson, and her hand was wrapped around a bottle like she used to wrap her hands around him when she cared. He looked at his garden again and realized 10 years of his life had grown so quickly. Before he left forever, he stomped out the basil, thought of the girl, and fire and basalt. He ripped the parsley out of the ground so it lay partially alive, and thought of his dog. He shredded the saffron because he realized the plant wasn't going to save his parents. The cloves had died around the same time as his father, and he drowned the rosemary because he hated his father for dying like he did. 8 months later, he was in a greenhouse, and he was sure he was in love again. Her hair was as red as the roses she was watering, and she showed him that planting something could be happy. When they were married, she guided his hand as he planted a rose. When their first child was born, he was so happy. He was in a daisy. He planted daisies. He always took the time to smell the flowers on the way home because although he missed the smell of cilantro, he liked his life better anyway.